Happy Tuesday, everyone. Let's see what we're gonna have this week in terms of news. Then we're gonna look at the DXY, the S&P, and then the daily and the weekly charts for ETH and BTC. Now, you might be wondering what's going on. There's not much going on. And again, I don't know how people make daily content online, because honestly there is very little to be said every day, and once you say something, it's going to be invalidated the next day, because it's one day red, one day green. That's how it is, at least for the BTC and ETH charts. Now this week, I believe today and tomorrow we might be in a similar situation, continuing the ranging. Why? Because we have the CPI on Thursday from the States, and then we have the core PPI and the consumer sentiment, yes, on Friday. So we have Thursday and Friday that look set to be delivering some volatility in the market. These are numbers that will again make the market react, because the market is waiting for them. So they're, once they come out, unless they are terribly middle of the road, as in not saying anything pretty much on the forecast, if they are higher or lower, they will generate some volatility, and generally they generate volatility both ways. There's a correction and then there's the move. I've been waiting for the same kind of pattern, and I've noticed it, but when Jerome Powell was speaking about the inflation, and ETH made these two moves, but it went down and up in the same space. So it didn't break the support or the resistance, which is what our chart conversation will be all about today. There's no point discussing what's happening with the 4-hour candles, even with the 12-hour candles, if we are not breaking and holding support and resistance. Nothing is confirmed until these two levels are broken, either of them. So that's the news. Thursday and Friday are big days. Thursday, we're gonna have the news. Thursday before the New York session. So there's gonna be volatility before the start of the session, and so is Friday. So the core PPI are 1 and the CPI are 1:30 p.m. UK time. An hour before the an hour before the start of the session, 3 hours my time. So we're gonna have that volatility. It is again end of London, start of New York. They always bring volatility. The DXY has been doing a lift, and it seems to be back testing levels of support. Now here's I'm in an ETH long, so that's why I was looking at the 1 hour, but here's the 4-hour chart for the DXY. It had broken the 50 EMA, back tested twice, held it, and now it's holding it, and it's back above the 20 MA on the 4-hour chart. Previously it got rejected at the 800 EMA, and we know that when the DXY goes down, coins go up. Last night it was both. That's one of the reasons why I stopped watching the DXY so much, because a bit like what happened last night. So we had 3 candles going up on the 4-hour on ETH and BTC, and it's the same thing on the DXY, where it should be the other way around. However, I am looking at the general daily trend, because that's the one that influences more price action. And on the daily, again, we are holding the 50 EMA, we're holding the 20 EMA. We haven't backtested the 20 EMA, so that's what gets me to think we might be coming down to do that. Again, we are in the middle with the DXY, because we are ranging around the peak formation. So ranging around the peak formation, on the daily chart means both directions are possible, because we could always have a higher high backtest to the 200 EMA on daily, or we could get rejected and fail to break the previous high and start coming down to backtest the 20. So you can see I'm taking now, as we're ranging, I'm taking a very, I like simplicity, and I like simplifying the way I look at charts, because that leaves a lot of the bias to the side. So this is the 50 EMA band, the purple band with the middle blue line, which is the 50 EMA. While we are in the 50 EMA band, that's a ranging price action. There's no trend in the 50 EMA band. It's neither to the upside or to the downside. It's ranging. When we get past the 50 EMA band and we hold it, that's an uptrend. When we get below the 50 EMA band and again we continue below it, it's a downtrend. So today, the DXY is in the middle of the 50 EMA band, so we're not going to go anywhere. Let's see what the S&P has been doing. The S&P has reset the daily stochastic that had been quite a lot, that has moved quite a lot from the peak here, even though prices haven't moved so much. So compared to the size of the swing, it's really, really small. It has also reset the regular RSI, which seems to be bouncing off the midline. So is this a bounce to do a 1-2 peak formation rejection down, or is this another high? Is this going to be another higher high? We don't know at the moment. At the moment, we haven't even got back above the 20 MA for the S&P. We seem to be gathering strength to bounce off the midline, but we have been printing a lot of bearish divergences on the daily chart for the S&P. So it would be time for a backtest of the 200, resetting the stock as well. So a backtest down for the S&P, a backtest for BTC and ETH would be very healthy. It wouldn't mean that we are out of the bull run or we have invalidated bull market signals, not at all. It would just be that we are backtesting the previous levels of resistance turned into support, which is a very technical move to make. At the moment, we closed yesterday on a green candle. The previous red candle looks like a bottom out candle, showing that a reversal might be happening. But until we close 2 days, we need 2 daily candles above the 20 MA to confirm a possible uptrend. And even then, it's not 100% probable, because we need to see movement away from the range. Now that's a nice transition idea. This is where we are with Bitcoin. So we are between the 30K and the 28.5K. Very, very small space to move. Even from the peak of this to the bottom of this, it's not even 5%, so not worth trading at all. The stock on the daily for BTC is up. It has crossed up, but I've seen it turn and twist, and the MACD is showing that a reversal might be happening, but we haven't had the lines of the MACD cross yet. So what we need to see here, let me see if I can find the chart with the range. There we go. What we need to see here, and this is the trade setup that I mapped out last week. It's the same. It has the same validity this week. Just gonna flip this over like so. What we need to see here is a move away from the previous bottom or the previous top, a back test, and then continuation. So that's what we need to see. again, it's very hard to map out levels. If I'm like looking at this as a peak formation, this as peak formation, push away level 1, push away level 2, push away level 3. We should be getting somewhere around here, which is the 26, 27 area. There we go, 26.2, which would be a 786. Now, we don't necessarily have to do that at the moment because this might not be finished. This might be a whole new beast. This could be the W formation, push away level 1, push away level 2, back test. Sorry guys, I didn't map this out correctly. So W, push away, back test, push away, back test, push away. Here we need to see the peak formation because this is a higher high. We don't yet have a lower high. So if we see something like this failing to break the previous high, which is where again I'll be taking some profit from my ETH trade if I don't have any, if I see any overbought signals on the daily or 12-hour flashing as it gets to challenge the previous peak, if it gets there, again, I'm making a huge assumption considering that it's gonna leave this ranging motion. So BTC will leave this ranging motion range and it will get up to backtest the previous peak. We need to see the peak formation. We don't have a peak formation at the moment. This might be the peak formation, but it's really small compared to the previous consolidation length. So to my mind, proportionally, this doesn't match in length, the length of time, the previous consolidations. So that's why an M here would be more similar to this, and then it would be a nice length for an M formation. But anyways, if we do leave the 30,000 resistance range and we head up, if you see any overbought indications here, I would advise, of course, taking some profit, and then you can DCA taking 70%, or not advice is just a way of saying not financial advice, but you know what I mean. I would be taking at least 70% profit if I have 3 yeses on the 4-hour time frame of topping out. So if I have the 4-hour stock, the 4-hour RSI, bearish divergences flashing on the 4-hour time frame, I would be looking to take profit. Now, this is of course a big if. We haven't seen any breaking of that support and resistance box. The resistance is 30,000, and now we're going to talk about breaking the support. The main support is the 29K area, which is the 0.382 correction. 0.5 is for ETH. So while we are at this, let's say, first significant level of correction, below us there's the 200 MA on the daily. It hasn't been back tested for BTC. It looks like it will be tested. That needs to be broken, back tested, and then we're going to have continuation, which is going to be, let's say, breaking the getting to the 0.5, back testing up to, let's say, the 0.382, and then continuing. Of course, these levels will be refined on the day, depending on what's being printed on the weekly levels. If we're looking at traders reality and checking to see how we're doing with the psychological levels, we are in a slightly better situation than the previous week for BTC, because we are actually above the psychological. This is where the psychological low is. something's going on with this indicator. It's not writing anymore. Yes, so we are above the psychological low, we're above the psychological high, we are above the pivot of the day, we are also on the day. So we are starting London above these levels of support. We're also above the 1 hour 50 EMA. So the 1 hour trend is to the upside. We're above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. We have a lot of support on these daily levels and on the 1 hour time frame. We haven't got that support for BTC on the 4 hour yet. That's the problem. So the 4 hour hasn't yet confirmed the support. We have candles holding the 20 EMA, but it hasn't back tested it, and the stock is getting a lot high in the overbought. So to me, this is looking more like it's meeting resistance. However, the 1 hour time frame is showing better levels of support. The technical, again, the technical trade for me this week, as far as I could read the charts, was a long that I took yesterday in ETH. So I'm still following it up. I will be following it. I will be moving my stop loss higher around the start of New York, depending on what happens in London today. But just to sum it all up, BTC keeps ranging, it keeps holding support. It hasn't printed a lower high yesterday on the daily. It has the stock on the daily turned up. Unfortunately, the time frame that is pushing everything down is the weekly. Just so you know, the weekly is the one that has the stock turned down and the MACD turned down, so the weekly needs to rehabilitate. It could do so. This has been one of the most boring times in trading and charting for BTC as far as I have seen, and it could do so because, again, the weekly is down after a long period of sideways, and that sideways generally leaves the options open for both directions to happen. So that's it for BTC. Again, I'm watching the daily levels. We are starting. Monday finishes the move that Friday sets. So I expected Monday to be down yesterday. And I think I said it in the charts. I think I said it on Friday as well. So the final move on Friday is the first move on Monday. And that's exactly what New York did yesterday. New York just started pushing down, down, down till the 5 o'clock candle in the UK. And I think it did another 1 or 2 15-minute candles after that down, and it started lifting. And we have buying vectors on the 4 hour and on the 1 hour for both ETH and BTC. But where we're going from here all depends on how much support we're going to keep gaining and holding on the 4 hour and the daily. And if we are gaining that support, I would be moving my stop loss up higher because it's not worth even losing the 5%. You know, I have my 5% rule. It's not worth losing that 5% for the stop loss if we don't have the technical indications that it's going to continue. So let's see what ETH is doing. ETH has done a local correction that is a little bit steeper than BTC's. So here's the 12-hour chart. I will just my voice is a little bit off today. I'm really sorry. I could hear some sounds. There we go. So here's the trend line. Now, because we closed the day already, I'm gonna pull it up to yesterday's. So this would be the ascending wedge that ETH is in and has been in since November. So at the moment we have 1, 2 touches to the top and we have multiple touches to the bottom, and we can see that ETH has a pattern of testing the support repeatedly before bouncing off. Here, massive lift, here only once, 1 touch. Here we spent 3 days on this line, and here's again, if yesterday was it, it's the first day here. So we might stay here for another couple of days, which would be in line with the CPI coming out on Thursday, which is another daily candle from today's. Now on the daily, ETH is not doing so well because we've had the 20 cross down over the 55, but we can see that it hasn't really been a consistent indicator because it's just in a sideways motion. So here it crossed down, we did a little bit of a lower low. Here it crossed up, we did a high and then turned down. Here it crossed up, we did 1, 2 higher highs and then started coming down. So it hasn't really been a reliable crossing lately because we've kept in this space, and the main support is the 1810, 1800, 1810. That's the area, and 2000 as resistance. So until one of these breaks, we're not gonna go anywhere. I'll show you in I'll show you the smaller time frame levels after I show you the stock. On the daily is up at the moment, the 4 hour it's up as well, but on the weekly it's crossed down, even though right now it's lifting a little bit. Now we know that ETH can move before BTC. ETH has a clearer chart position than BTC, in my opinion. I find it easier to read ETH than to read BTC where it is right now. I think it has to do with the volumes as well. By the way, in terms of volumes, we haven't really been going anywhere. Like the weekly MACD is coming down and it's not looking great. If I am to put it on the daily, we did lift a little bit yesterday, but as you can see, it's volume coming in, volume coming out, same level. But this is a scoopy. This is a scoopy formation. However, until we break above the 20 EMA on the daily, and we really hold it, like we need to see the 4 hour time frame hold the 20 and continue. If we don't have that 4 hour holding the 20 and continuing, we're not going to go anywhere. Here's the 4 hour that closed with a doji. I think it's a doji. A hammer is at the top, doji is at the bottom. So this would be for reversal. This 20 MA has been where it got rejected so many times. That's why I actually went into a long position yesterday, because we've been usually backtesting this push against the 20. Where did the 20 break as support? Here's where the 20 broke as support. After that, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is the 12th try on the 4 hour time frame to break the 20. It hasn't really been a move away from the 20, a considerable move away from the 20 since the 20 broke as support. The same for the 50. The 50 broke as support on the 4 hour. It got back tested and moved down 5% over the course of more than 3 weeks. It is a 5% push down over the course of 3 weeks on the 4 hour time frame is minimal movement. It's really minimal movement. It says nothing about direction. So That's why, to me, this looks a bit like a bear trap. I believe that we might see a spike up. My level to break and to hold would be the 1880. The immediate level is the 1840. So 1840 immediate resistance, 1880 immediate later resistance. As far as support is concerned, we are in the same situation as with BTC. If we break the 1810, we're going to come down to meet the 200 MA on the daily. Now I'm going to move this here. This could be it. The 200 could be it, like it was here. So twice it got back tested. Or we could actually break it and start heading down to make a deeper correction. But we need to see a back test before we do that. There are reasons for both directions, and I'm trying to take as little risk as possible at the moment. There are reasons for both directions. The main reason for the long is the lack of momentum to sell. The main reason for the short is holding below the 20 and the 50 MAs, EMAs on the daily. Everybody's saying, you know, what are you doing? Longing because we're holding. Yes, we're holding, but we're not going anywhere. So we're actually building structure. And yesterday's move, as I posted in the chats, actually had a bullish divergence on the 4 hour. The 4 hour is a great indicator for the daily move. However, again, if we don't break the resistance, we're not going to go anywhere. Now let's see what we're doing on the hourly time frame on the daily levels. Again, similarly to Bitcoin, we are holding some levels of support. We're holding the daily open, we're holding the pivot point. We're not yet holding the psychological low and the psychological high. Sydney and Hong Kong did a back test. They pushed to the psychological high. They pushed twice, yesterday and today this morning, to the psychological high. We are still in the 1 hour 50 EMA cloud, so we haven't left that band. BTC is a little bit ahead today. It's a little bit ahead because it's still it's above it. ETH is in it. And for the 4 hour time frame, we are below it. So the trend continues below it on the 4 hour. That's what I wanted to say. There's no point waffling on. I will be posting around. I will be posting after I stop recording the session, the updates with the levels on the 1 hour on Traders Reality, because this is what we're looking at. Tuesday is the start of a 3-day trend generally for the weekly traders. So again, I believe that there's more reasons, more technical reasons to go with the up as we're starting Tuesday. I would be keeping an eye on it though for any rejection around the previous highs. So we will know we will know if this is a W formation on the 4 hour time frame. If, for instance, the previous peak is broken and we see continuation. So once we break the 1850 and we hold it, then this looks like a W formation on the 4 hour to come up and challenge the previous high. I will keep you updated if such miracle happens until Thursday. I don't believe this will happen until Thursday. I believe we're going to keep ranging until Thursday. But maybe in this ranging, we're gonna gain some levels of resistance and hold them for the CPI to backtest some MAs depending on how the setup looks on Thursday, and then move on. Let's see what's going to happen. There's nothing more to say, but watch for resistance, watch for support, and wait for the backtest. There's the backtest strategy, and then there's buying support, selling resistance. So if you see an entry along the support and resistance, make your risk assessment and see if it's worth putting in a part of the capital to buy support or sell resistance. That's up to you to decide. I am looking at ranges, and this is what I'm doing at the moment. So when I see a good opportunity to do that, I'll risk assess and make the move. So that's it from me for today. I will see you guys on Friday, same time, 9 a.m. UK time, and we'll see if we've managed to do something on Thursday on CPI news. The market doesn't think it's going to be bullish, by the way. It expects to be bearish. So let's see if the market gets what the market expects, then we might see a lift. If not, it's the opposite. So the unexpected destabilizes levels.